Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, lived a young blind boy. Despite his blindness, he possessed an extraordinary gift. He could weave stories that touched the hearts of everyone who listened. His tales carried wisdom, lessons, and inspiration for the villagers. Yet, even with such remarkable talent, the blind boy spent most of his days alone. Other boys in the village did not appreciate his gift. Instead of offering friendship, they mocked him cruelly. They jeered at him, saying, "Look at the blind boy. He tells stories about things he has never seen." They placed obstacles in his path, laughed when he stumbled, and ran away when he asked for help. Each word of mockery pierced his heart like a thorn. At night, he would lie awake wondering why he was born this way and what purpose his life held if it only brought ridicule. One morning, overwhelmed by sorrow, the blind boy decided he could no longer endure the pain. Using his walking stick, he slowly made his way toward the river that flowed at the edge of the village. He thought the river would end his suffering and free him from his misery. As he approached the riverbank, he heard the rustling of leaves from a large banyan tree. Beneath its ancient branches sat a monk in deep meditation, his orange robe softly glowing under the morning sun. Sensing the boy's troubled heart, the monk gently called out to him. Startled yet comforted by the kindness in the monk's voice, the boy sat beside him, trembling with emotion. The monk asked him what burden he carried in his young heart. Unable to hold back, the boy poured out all his pain, his blindness, the cruelty of others, his loneliness, and his decision to end his life. With tears streaming down his face, he whispered that he felt useless and burdensome. The monk listened with compassion and began to tell him a story. In a dense forest, many tall, straight, and beautiful trees grew proudly. Among them stood one crooked tree, its trunk bent, its branches twisted. The straight trees mocked the crooked one daily, calling it ugly and useless. The crooked tree felt deep sadness and wished to be like the others. One day, a man entered the forest with woodcutters. He examined all the trees and ordered the straight ones to be cut down for lumber. But he left the crooked tree untouched, saying it was useless for building. One by one, the proud straight trees were destroyed, while the crooked tree remained standing. With time, it became home to hundreds of birds and animals. It realized that its greatest flaw had become its greatest protection. The monk paused and asked the boy if he understood. The boy protested, saying he could not see. How could blindness ever be a strength? The monk smiled gently and asked him what he saw when he created his stories. The boy thought and replied that he saw through his heart, the emotions, the lessons, and truths beyond appearances. The monk told him that those who mocked him only saw the surface. Their eyes worked, but their hearts were blind. The boy, despite his lack of sight, saw deeper truths. His stories carried power because they came from inner vision shaped by struggle and empathy. His blindness, which he believed made him weak, was actually the source of his unique strength. The monk placed a hand on his shoulder and reminded him not to compare himself to others. The straight trees spent their lives mocking the crooked one, but in the end, it was the crooked tree that survived. The boy too had a unique purpose only he could fulfill. When the boy asked how he should face those who mocked him, the monk advised him to keep telling his stories. Those with wisdom would gather around him, and life would teach the others their lessons. With newfound understanding, the blind boy returned to his village. He no longer cursed his fate. When others mocked him, he remembered the crooked tree. He continued telling his stories, and slowly, people began to appreciate his wisdom. Eventually, he became the village's most treasured teacher. His disability became his greatest ability, and he shared the story of the crooked tree with anyone who felt broken or imperfect. This story teaches us powerful lessons. Nobody is perfect. Uniqueness is a strength. comparing ourselves to others only brings sadness. And every quality in life carries both advantages and disadvantages. Just like the blind boy and the crooked tree, everyone is special in their own way. What we see as flaws may actually be our greatest gifts. So today, stop comparing yourself to others and start embracing what makes you different. Your struggle might be someone else's hope. You are not broken. You are unique. And in that uniqueness lies your greatest strength.